One of the main things that I can actually say about myself, is that I like challenges. And when I say I like challenges, I like, to be interactive with things that would, require me to think a little bit, to kind of think outside the box to find a solution, that sort of thing to see really what's going on, that sort of thing. I've always been the type of person that liked to, solve problems, be a bit of a problem solver, especially when I was taking courses in high school and such like that. You're given something new and different, which means that now you're able to, sit there and really get a bit creative, being able to step outside the box to, utilize different resources that you may have not been used to in the past, which means that you're actually learning something new. You're learning more about yourself and what you can do to get something done. But when you're actually given something that's the same all the time, where you're having to really just sit there and really not really be challenged enough or whatever the case may be, and then when it's actually brought, to you as if, it's something that you supposedly don't know, and stuff like that, it gets a bit boring, and the thing about it is that, you really are not, you're not really given a chance to really explore your creative juices, so to speak, to kind of, figure out what's going on. And for the most part, I was inspired to do this video because, again, the stuff that sometimes folks bring to you is nothing new. And the thing about it is that it gets old and boring. But even in that being old and boring, I still try to find a new way to approach something, even if it's something that's old. And the thing about it is that it inspired me to really think deeply, critically, and logically, if you will, about really the worth of the average black man. Like I say in this video, I don't know, I may upset some people, but like I say, I know what my intentions are, and I'm not here to go back and forth with anyone because that's not how I do things. I'm the type of person that usually speak what I have to say, and I just move on. It is what it is. Everybody has a right to agree, have a right to disagree, but we all should behave like adults, even in our disagreements, even though that's something that we really don't see that much of in this day and time here on YouTube. Like I say, again, if you get offended, like I say, I know what my intentions are. If it disturbs you with what I have to say that much, you're at free will to kind of shut the video off and look at something that's more of your liking. At least that's what I would do, because again, I'm not going to sit there and watch something from someone who I feel that doesn't care about me or who don't like me or, my cause or whatever the case may be. So I just kind of wanted to put that out there, just in case, someone does, take offense. But moving on with what I have to say, and such like that, there's one thing to actually say about the black man, is for it. One thing that I can say, and I think that is actually very true, and I think a lot of folks would actually agree with me, is that a man's worth, I would say maybe back in the late 60s, early 70s type of way, it was actually a lot, greater than what we see in this day and time now. And the reason why I actually say that is because, we would actually see, black folks that were pretty much unified, getting together, getting along with their fellow woman, for the most part, they were pretty much inseparable, if you will. You could not actually see one without the other. They stood tall. They actually was always expressing how much they needed each other, how much they love each other. It really wasn't that much bickering or anything that was going on, in that particular time frame. Every time you saw saw them, like I say, in some cases, just walking down the street, that sort of thing, you will always see them. It's like they were like in love. They really actually enjoyed each other's company. Like I say, they were actively, just doing things together. They actually wanted to be together. No one forced them. They really wanted to be together because they knew that they were already in a society that was going to be fighting against them. And for the most part, they actually had to be unified in so many ways, And the thing about it, again, is that, we already know that white society didn't like that anyway. But the issue is that for the most part, you could not really separate the black man from the black woman any type of capacity, because again, they were what we would call in today's terms unified in everything that they did, said, and even how they acted out, outside. And the thing about it, I believe, is the reason why they were actually unified is because, again, there was a genuine love, a love that actually glued the man to the woman, and because of that, the man's worth to the black woman was just, at its peak. It's like the black woman did not even want to think about, going or being with anybody else but her black man, because she knew that the black man actually had her best interests at heart. And that really to me is like a very powerful thing, and that is the greatest thing that's the best thing that I actually love to see in this day and time, is a black man and a black woman getting along. Despite whatever adversities are thrown their way, they're able to really put all of that aside and still get along, because they already know that at the end of the day, they both have each other's back. And I think the reason, again, for really the glue for them being so close together is because the black man actually really, in a sense, worshiped the black woman. I mean, he really loved his mate. He already knew that we actually, again, had to have each other's back. Anything that the black woman wanted, the man actually did whatever he could to see to it that, she got whatever it is that she wanted. Or if he couldn't get it, he was going to work darn hard to make her get close to whatever it is that she wanted. And I actually really adored that. It's like almost to a sense, to the point where, he was actually, if he could, he would have given her, the world if she really wanted to. I mean, the thing about it, again, you have to really see, for the most part, the comparison on what's going on as far as the black man's worth to the woman back then, and what it actually stood for, his love, as opposed to what is going on right now. So for the most part, you actually have to see here, there's a big change in attitudes and such, as far as the attitude or the man's worth to the black woman as opposed to now, because again, there's a lot of things, or a lot of forces, if you will, that are at work that is actually really weakening, in a sense, the man's worth, as far as in today's society, as far as in relation to the black woman. Lots of things, like I say. And the thing about it, again, is that before we actually attack the issue, we have to kind of go back to the round table and really think about this thing here, really to come up with some things, or to figure out, where did the man's worth drop? Where did the love go? Why is it that the black man's worth, as far as society, as far as his black woman, why is it has dropped from an all-time high, which was back in the mid 70s, in 60s and 70s, to the point where it's almost non-existent now, for the most part. So again, we have to go back to the round table. We have to really go back to the boardroom, in a sense, and really just think about this for a minute. And that's pretty much what I wanted to do. I really wanted to sit there and just take a time to really just meditate and really think about this, because again, this is a very serious issue that affects all black men for the most part, or I would say a great majority of men, because you still have some black men who are with black women, and they still enjoy each other's company as if they were first dating, or whatever the case may be, but for some reason, for the majority of black men, their worth has dropped tremendously. And the thing about it, again, it's over stupid stuff. And I said it, yes, over dumb, stupid stuff. But the thing about it, again, is that one thing you cannot get rid of, and I think a lot of times also the reason why that their worth has dropped, as far as in relation to the black woman, is because of ignorance. And the thing about it is that we already know that ignorance in this day and time is bliss. I mean, you don't have to go far, in the black community to find ignorance on both parts. Because again, I don't want to sit there and make this out to be a woman bashing video, which I'm pretty sure some women would be glad to see and would say, what, okay, here we go. Here's another man again hating on black women. And I'm used to it. And the thing about it is that every time I actually hear that, I laugh, because I know what my true intentions are. But one thing that I don't like is when someone listens to what I say and twists my words. That is something that I will not ever tolerate. I don't care who you are. I want to make mention of that. Like I say, if you get upset about it, there's the exit button. You can even unsubscribe. It doesn't matter to me. Like I say, I'm going to still breathe and be tall and light all day, every day. So you can miss me with that. But anyway, continuing on with this, as we know, ignorance is bliss, and there's a lot of things that are at work that really has played a part in the man's worth, as far as how he views his black woman and how his black woman views him. And the thing about it, again, is that we have to be open and honest when we're talking about this, because that's the only real way, I should say, that we're going to actually be able to be open and honest to see here what has taken over and what has dictated how we actually should run our households and our relationships. We have a lot of things here on, that have contributed, as you can see here, and actually that has influenced us as far as how we're supposed to treat our woman, how we're supposed to treat our men, all of these different type of things. And the funny thing about it again is that, it has led us to really become strangers towards one another. And the thing about it, and what I mean by that, is the fact that, we just don't know pretty much how to really sit down and really just get along, not even on a friendly level. You don't even have to be in a relationship, not even as friends. And the thing about it is that I hate that this is what, society has done. This is what it has done to us. I mean, like I say, the worth of a black man has dropped tremendously. And the thing about it again is that, these are the things, in some cases, that has caused, the, I would say, likability factor for the men in our society to not really be worth much to black women. Like I say, and the funny thing about it again is that now that you have these influences that are at play, for the most part, you have nothing but constant, disagreements and everything, black women about, their worth, what they can bring to a relationship, what a man needs to do, what he's better do, and what the woman has to bring to the relationship, what she is, and, and the thing like that. And the thing about it again is that it's sad because, again, we're the only race, for the most part on the planet that a lot of other folks would actually say that has a lot of big issues going on, within them. And for the most part, again, today you can't even get the average black man and black woman to sit down and really just talk open and honestly without actually somebody getting upset or offended or taking something out of context. And next thing you know, they're jumping to conclusions, and then here we go again with the finger pointing, the blame game and all this other type of stuff, that is so frequent whenever, a black man and a black woman sits down, and that sort of thing. And it's gotten to the point now where even though all of this stuff is going on now, we just don't even want to stand the sight of just really being in each other's presence. And like I say, really, to me, that bothers me. Because again, like I say, I'm the type of person that I like unity. I like, people to get along, and really just have a good time. Like I say, we don't have to be in a relationship. We can just enjoy each other's company. Like I said earlier, but even with that, it's like when you ask someone to do that, it's like it's very difficult for us to do because we now have, things, like I said, that have influenced us to make us think, okay, this is how a man should be, or this is how a woman should be. And if they don't be that way, then again, I don't want to have anything to do with them, and the thing about it again is that we start the name calling and all of this other type of stuff. And the thing about it is that with me, it's unnecessary. It doesn't bring us together. All it does is tear us further apart. And the last thing that we need as a black community is to be torn apart, because like I say, we see enough of this already in companies and YouTubers and everybody else that for the most part is profiting like crazy and capitalizing off of our dysfunctions as far as our inabilities to get along. But what about this? Like I say, I want to kind of really dissect this thing and really, go through some various points as to the reason why black men and black women can't get along. Why, what's going on? Why has there been such discord and such, anger, if you will, on both sides of the fence? Like I say, the thing about it again is that, sometimes you do your research and put things away, and you say, okay, well, you know what, I don't have a need to do this right now as far as, video purposes. But sometimes, there's always something that actually will make you go back in that drawer and get your notes and stuff that you put away for a while and really go back and re-examine it. And then next thing you know what, I think I better do a video about it, because again, I like to do things, based off of research. As you folks know, that I don't like to come off and blindly say anything without doing my research. I don't go and just make videos on the fly like most folks do, and spout things that I know to be untrue without actually getting out there and putting my feet to the pavement. Even if it means just going and asking various family members and such like that and their friends or whatever the case may be on how they feel about a specific subject. But I actually wanted to kind of talk to some of the male, black males in my family, brothers, uncles, or whatever the case may be, who may be in relationships or who may have just recently broken up with, a significant other or whatever the case may be. And I wanted to really figure out why that was, And like I say, I figure that this video is right on time, especially in recent events of some of the things that I've experienced here. So like I say, it's very interesting here, but I'm going to go through, and dissect it on both parts, the male and the female, and give my perspective and my take on both of them, all right? So for the most part, I want to actually go in and examine the angry black man. One thing that we actually have to understand, is that for the most part, whenever you're looking at, for the most part, both females and males, we always have like an attitude. There are lots of reasons why we have an attitude. Some of them are justified. Some of them are just so far-fetched till you just wouldn't believe, what you're hearing. But for the most part, when I sat down and talked with, the male members of my family, and really wanted to get to the heart of what's going on and why do they think certain things is, you would be surprised again, with what folks say when you really sit down and really listen to what they're saying and really kind of understand where they're coming from. So for the most part, there were three different aspects that the black males in my family and the black men that I interviewed that says the reason why they feel that they can't get along with black women. And the reason why they feel that, black women don't view them as, or I would say that they don't view them as somebody to be actually in a relationship with, as opposed to, yesteryears. It's like as if their value has dropped. And the thing about it, again, is this is what they're saying. The number one reason I was told by them is that women are argumentative. And the thing about it, again, is that, when you actually talk to, an average black woman, and again, you can call me misogynistic and everything else, but the thing about it is that you cannot deny what you see and what's been given to you time and time again. Even from my sister, I can see that. Like I say, because she's, of course, is a black woman. Women are very argumentative. And the thing about it, again, is that, I don't know why a woman feels that in order for her to actually be able to say or actually get across something to a man, they have to be so argumentative as if that's going to help a situation. See, one thing about it, from speaking from a male standpoint, that's the only point that I can speak from because, again, I'm a man. But like I say, the last thing I want to actually hear from someone is somebody just nagging in my ear. I cannot stand that. It's like an annoying gnat that won't go away, that just sits there and just keep going on and on and on and on. And the thing about it is that what I usually do when I'm actually in a disagreement with a woman, a black female or whatever the case may be, I will just, just begin to, agree with everything that she's saying just so she would be quiet. Because the thing about it is that, it's like it's that syndrome that goes on and on where, it's like if you don't say anything, it makes the situation a lot worse. They get even angrier and even more louder and stuff like that. And I'm like, you know what? Yeah, baby, I understand. I'm agreeing with you. Well, why are you agreeing with me? I know you disagree with what I'm saying. Okay, here we go again. So now what do you want me to do? I mean, like I say, and the thing about it again is that I can understand that wholeheartedly that, on average, women are the most argumentative between, the sexes. They will sit there. They will argue till the cows come home. They want to get the last word. They're not satisfied until they get the last word. And even when they get the last word, they still feel like they didn't get their point across. The thing about it, again, is that they, want to have the last word and they want to feel like they have won. And what I do, and like I say, and it works sometimes and sometimes it don't, I tell them, okay, you're right. I'm wrong. Okay, I see your point. Like I say, sometimes they really do have a point. And sometimes I say that because they're just being foolish and just saying stuff that is just so far-fetched. I just want to just get the argument over and move on with whatever else that I got going on. Like I say, and I don't take that back. Black women are irrational as far as their thinking. Now, I know when I say black women, a lot of folks are going to say, you can't say that about all black women because you never met all black women. I know this, folks. But the issue is, I know I haven't met every black woman. And the thing about it is that for those of you that can think, you already know that I can't be talking about all black women. Because I always have to clarify and say some in my videos, but I'm getting away from that. Because again, it's already a given that that I can't be talking about all black women, because again, I will never meet every black woman that is gracing the face on the face of this planet. So I think that's a given. So when I say black women, you already know that I can't be talking about all black women, just like all black men or all black whatever. I can't be talking about all of whatever that is that I'm talking about. It has to be a portion, the ones that I come in contact with. So that's just for you all out there that are the geniuses that will sit there and quickly say, I can't believe he's saying that, and want to leave these stupid comments about he's saying that all black women are like that. I never said that. Go back, re-listen to the clarification that I just gave. But anyway, moving on. Like I said, he said that women are argumentative, and like I said, and when they were actually talking to me about it, it was like they were at a state of they don't even know why it is that they are so argumentative and everything like that. And I'm like, well, God created man and woman. And the thing about it is that he created women with certain characteristics, certain qualities, and certain, traits and DNAs and all this other type of stuff. And he did the same thing with the man. But the issue is that I say, well, he said, I don't understand why though. Why, when you try to make peace with a woman over whatever it is, it don't matter how big or small it is, she's going to find fault. She's going to want to find something wrong, something nitpicking to argue about. You come home late for a legitimate reason. You were working late. She wants to assume that you're out there cheating or seeing somebody on the side or doing something devious or whatever the case may be. And I'm like, you know what? I'm like, right now at this point in time, I'm glad that I'm single. I don't know if that'll change in the future. I don't know what's in the cards for me. I can't sit there and tell God, I don't want no black women. I can't tell him that. Because the thing about it is that, like I say, I want a black woman one day, somebody, to have my children or whatever the case may be. Like I say, that's just my desire. But the issue is that, like I say, I'm not going to go out there and rush my time. I mean, I'm patient, especially when it comes to something like this, because the last thing that I need is for somebody to run my stress up and push me closer to the grave. I mean, our life expectancy is already really small as compared to black women. And the thing about it, most black women do outlive black men. They really do. But the issue is, like I say, I'm all about wanting to be happy and healthy. Like I say, and the thing about it is that I want to be, and I want to continue that as much as I can for as long as I can. But like I say, with most of the black men that I actually talked to when I was doing this particular video, they were actually saying that women are very argumentative and they didn't understand why that has to be. Well, I said, well, if you understand it and really look at this in a spiritual aspect, because again, there are some things that actually you can't really leave the Bible out of anything, because the Bible actually explains a whole lot of stuff about we as people and why we behave the way that we behave. And the thing about it is that when I looked in the Bible, in the book of Proverbs actually gave me a very good explanation as to why, as to the reason, that even the Bible, I should say, look at it as, women being argumentative. And I looked at it, I was like, wow. I say, even the Bible even knows the typical nature of a woman. And it was saying that it's better to live in a corner of a roof than to share a house with a quarrelsome woman or a wife. And the thing about it is pretty much what's that saying loosely is that it's better that a man stay outside than to constantly be subjected to a woman's mouth all the time. Quarreling, always arguing, never finding peace. There's never no peace, and the thing about it again is that, and the thing about it, most men, I'm gonna tell you the truth, most women run good men away because of that. Every man is not a dog. Every man is not misogynistic. Every man is not out there to see the failures of a woman and broadcast it live so other folks can share in their disgust. Every man is not like that. And the thing about it is that I've run across many videos here on YouTube where you have black men that are actually supporting black women and stuff like that. And like I say, I'm all for that. But even in my support, if I see something that's out of line or they're cutting up or whatever, I'm going to let them know. Like I say, I'm not going to show partiality. And I'm pretty sure you got women that are salivating at the mouth to see that a black man slip up, and she's going to try her best to put him in his place. I'm all for that too. So you have to miss me with all of these comments talking about, just don't support black women. I want to see where you're coming from, where you're getting your evidence. Because again, I know what my intentions are. And the thing about it is that you got a lot of them that really have too much time on their hands wanting to find fault with the black man for whatever reason. Here we go again, trying to find something to argue about. I'm not doing that. It's not worth my time. But moving on, like I say, the second issue that I was told is that as far as the black man's worth, as far as his worth, as far as the black woman, and why it's dropping, and the fact that he can't get along with the black woman is because, again, they're too demanding and they're materialistic. I got some folks in my family that got a little something, something. They've built a little wealth and stuff like that. And like I say, when you see black folks with, that actually have money and actually doing well, it does me well, because that lets me know that, we still have some of our brothers and sisters that are still out there doing their thing. And I like that. Like I say, and the thing about it, all black folks are not poor. All black folks are not struggling, and such like that. You do have some of them that are going on to run successful businesses, being CEOs, and all of this type of stuff. But the issue is that they're demanding and they're materialistic. I have some folks in my family that where they have significant others or girlfriends or whatever that actually lays down the rules and tell them what they're going to be doing, and this is how it's going to go, and there's nothing you can do about it. I'm like, wow, who wears the pants in that relationship? It's really funny because again, women for some reason, I don't know, somebody must in I guess in the nighttime or something, or a force came over them and tell them that what, the man is no longer the ruler of the relationship, it's the woman. Now the thing about it, I'm gonna say this: when you look at the evolution or the setup and the makeup of how man and woman are supposed to be as far as in relationship to each other, the man is supposed to be the head. However, the woman is there to be his helpmate, meaning that the man is not going to always be right in everything that he does and says. All right? So that means that the woman is there to help him in whatever capacity that she has to do to help him to keep the relationship going on strong and fair and equally balanced. But the problem occurs when you actually have one that is being a little bit too bold and expecting the other to kind of cower down. And the thing about it is that they said that they see a lot of this going on. And it really does affect the relationship, because the thing about it now is that you've changed roles. And see, anytime you actually go against what God has designed, there's a problem. You have some women that are too abusive to women, where they actually treat them like they are a slave rather than their, helpmate. And then again, you also have on the other side where you have women that are treating men like that's their son. And the sad part about it, the men are actually following in suit and actually enabling that woman to do that. So now she's going around talking down to him and doing all this type of stuff in public around other folks, making him look like a fool. And I'm like, man, you need to take your balls out of her purse and be the man that God called you to be. And I've actually had to tell someone that one time. I'm like, it's pathetic. You already know pretty much what you do. You don't have to explain yourself to nobody. You already know, for the most part, where your errors are in your relationship. And the thing about it, again, is that the longer you sit there and cower down and take demands from a woman, for the most part, especially, and I'm not even talking about in the workplace, I'm talking about in your personal relationship. You sit there and let this woman talk down to you. You sit there and let her talk to you like a child. She spends your money and she gives you an allowance. I mean, trust me, I've seen it. I'm like, fella, you right now, you're not really representing manhood very good. Solution: take your balls back. A lot of people may say, I can't believe he said that. Yeah, I said that. And that's what a lot of men need to do. Because again, the women these days, they're getting more and more demanding. They're getting more and more, to the point where I can do, you have to do what I say. If you don't, I can get, the law on my side. And we've seen that all before. And the thing about it is that they try to use this in every area of their life. Whether what career they have, they want to sit there and throw up the fact that they're educated, they got this and that going on and all this other type of stuff. I can do all of this, I can afford to do this, and all this other type of stuff. And I'm like, and that really irks me and bothers me, because we already know for the most part, women are out, performing in men as far as employment, as far as earnings and such like that. It wasn't long ago that the man was actually the one that was actually making the money, and bringing it home to the house, to take care of, the children and such like that. But now women are outnumbering the men. And as far as college enrollment, as far as, pretty much those type of social aspects and stuff like that, the career, house, and even success. And the thing about it is that all of this is being done, which is great. But the issue is, you don't do those type of things and move up just to try to make somebody else feel like they are under your feet. And the thing about it is that I can't speak for what's going on in somebody else's relationship, but I can tell you what's going on with what I see in my day-to-day eyes from folks that I know of that may be friends of the family, or maybe even family, period. They're too demanding, too realistic. Okay, I want this, I want that. I'm never satisfied. I got to go out and get the latest handbag. I got to go and get the latest hair weave. I got to go and do this. And I'm like, well, okay, it's okay to want these things. But the thing about it, again, is that you're being demanding. And the thing about it is that you're never satisfied. You got to get the boots. You got to get the matching, all this type of stuff. When you were just with a fella just because you enjoyed being with him. I mean, like I say, where it's just because. It's not because you got the money. It's not because you got status, because you got the wealth and stuff. Just because you wanted to be with me. Whatever happened to those days? And the thing about it that, I would sit there and really talk to them, it's like and the men that I would talk to about this, they would reminisce and really long for those days to return. But sad to say, I would have to say, and I'm not trying to, I always, I'm not a negative person. I'm more of a realist than anything else. Those days, for the most part, are long gone because now, again, outside forces have now dictated how the woman is viewed and how she is supposed to treat her man. And the thing about it, again, is that women are lining up and eating it up by the mouthful. And because of that, that's the reason why you don't really see too many black, successful, long-lasting relationships. People can say whatever they want. I'm not a fool. The last part that I'm actually wanting to just hit on with the black man as far as what makes him angry as far as black women are concerned is the fact that you actually constantly have black women comparing them to what a white man does, has, or whatever the case may be. And the thing about it, again, this is not stuff that's new, folks. This is something that we already know for the most part all about. And for the most part, we already know and can be almost certain that for the women that really don't mean black men any good, they're going to actually at some point in time say, okay, you know what, you need to go ahead and see what you can do with a white man because a white man is not going to treat you this way. A white man has more to offer and such like that. Like I say, a lot of, and you actually have videos with folks, with black women who are encouraging their fellow sisters to go and explore the other side of the grass, if you know what I mean, or the other side of the fence, I should say. They figure that, they can get everything they can get that a black man can offer them. But the thing about it, again, is that I'm not going to abandon someone, when times get rough. See, that's the old type of way of thinking. And the thing about it, again, is that I believe that every action has a reaction. And the thing about it is that what you do today will affect your future. Like I say, now, am I saying that it's wrong for a black woman to actually be with a white man? No. You find love wherever you can find it. Like I said, you have, and the thing about it is that if you be realistic, you got some of the most pro-black folks. They're jumping the fence in secret and going and sleeping with white folks anyway. So the thing about it, again, is that now you're being a hypocrite. Like I said, because if you're going to stand for something, you stand for it, both inside and outside of the bedroom. But the issue is, like I said, that is the major thing that actually really irks the black man. And women know this. And they push that envelope and push that envelope because they really want to see the black man frustrated for the most part. Again, when I say black women, I'm not talking about all because I don't know all, but I'm talking about the ones that do this. And the thing about it, again, is that it irks us. It makes us feel as if our worth to you is really not even important. It's like you have given up on us. And the thing about it is that it makes us feel disappointed. But in time, like I say, for those who really know what the deal is, we step back and say, you know what, you do whatever you feel that you need to do. Because again, a relationship that's based and started on a lie, it's not going to last. I don't care if you're going to have children from the fella. Like I say, you're the one that's actually putting yourself in hot water. Because the thing about it is that if you don't love someone and you're just putting on a show, like I said, it's going to really disgust and make your skin crawl every time you're intimate with that person. Because you already know that you're not with them for the right reason. Now, I'm not saying that's the case for every interracial relationship now, like I said, because you got, again, those who wants to jump to conclusions and misread and misunderstand what's being said. But like I said, just take it for what it's worth. All right? So now, for the most part, now that I've actually gone on and examined the black man, now let's go ahead and kind of delve into the black woman. Because again, the black woman, she's angry. She wants to let everybody know that, what, I'm angry and I have a reason to be angry. Don't tell me how to act. Because again, you black men can't get it together. You're always talking down us. You're always this, that, and the other. So like I say, let my fellow sisters join me in our anger. That type of stuff. Like I say, we see a lot of that going on. The first point that I actually want to talk about when I'm talking about, the reasons why women don't really value black men for the most part, and this is what I heard, a resounding star for this one, is that they're saying that black men, for the most part, everything that is wrong in our community has to be the black woman's fault. Now, I have to kind of put stuff away right now and really kind of sit down. Well, I'm already sitting down, but I really kind of have to kind of get comfortable for just a minute, if you would allow me. I'm going to do it anyway, so it doesn't matter. Everything that is wrong in our community has to be the black woman's fault. And I'm assuming they're saying this because of the many videos and such that they see on YouTube. And the thing about it again is that, black men now, we have a way of going and really pulling up, I'm under this belief. Anything that you look for, you will find, good or bad. I'll put it that way. Now, we do have perpetrators here on YouTube that will actually go, and will dig up the earth if they could, just to find something that, or someone, or a black woman that's doing something that is really out of her character. You don't have to go far these days. You got World Star Hip Hop. You got, like I say, other type of videos where, women are really behaving in ways that you would not believe, killing their children, having these bastard babies. Yes, I said that. With men who are no good and who they already know is no good, but yet still, they figure that, okay, despite all of this, that, everything that happens outside, happens, because of these actions or whatever the case may be. Everything that's going on in the world, as far as the black community is concerned, is my fault. See, one thing about it again is that I would have to say there's a wrong action that's being done on both parts, with the black man and the black woman with this one. Because again, if black men, like I say, I believe, is that when you show love where there is actually misunderstanding and hate, love is actually going to win. As the Bible tells me, love covers a multitude of sin. So that means that despite the fact that you're doing all of this crazy stuff, my job to you is, or for me to do, is to love you even though you're acting foolish. Like I say, men do foolish things too. I'm pretty sure that women find videos or whatever the case may be, but I've seen a great number of men that are doing those type of things, and they're actually doing long, drawn-out videos about it and talking about, the irresponsibility, if you will, of black women. Now, like I say, I cannot go on YouTube anytime I log on to YouTube. In my video feed, I'm always seeing something, from Tommy Sotomayor. And like I say, the reason why you do that is because, again, like I say, is that you may have looked at a video of his at some point in time, and it'll come up with a recommendation for you to watch something else of his. You know how that works. And the thing about it is that every time I would look and see, and like I say, with those, I don't look at every video that he posts, because I already know for the most part what his bread and butter is all about, for the most part. But when you see him, it's like some of these horrendous acts that these black women are doing. And the sad part about it, they're doing it to keep a man. They're doing it because they don't want to have any more children. They're doing all these type of things, maybe for attention. I don't know. But the thing about it is that I'm not going to say that everything that happens in our community is because of the actions of a black woman, but a great majority of it is. You have men now, like I say, that are being locked up at, horrendous rates, and being charged with things that they really don't even have anything to do with. A woman can really get at a man very quicker than a man can get at a woman. All she has to do is cry, like I said, and I'm not trying to make light of the rape thing, but you got women that will actually, you got some vindictive women that will actually cry rape just because they were rejected by someone. And the thing about it is that they already know that the law is on their side. And next thing you know, guess what? They are now at the mercy, now, for the most part, explaining to the officer what went on. And she don't even have to even go that much into detail. All she got to do is look like she's scared and out of her life. Make sure that she's like trying to really fear for her life. And next thing you know, the white police officer is coming there with handcuffs, already looking for the black man. She doesn't even have to say much of anything. He's already looking for the black man. And the next thing you know, unless she slips up and brags to her friends, because like I say, when women do stuff, they really, again, don't know how to keep their mouth closed. They will go and talk and brag about it to their friends, and one honest woman will go and tell the police what really was the deal. Like I say, I know I'm not going to get a lot of likes or whatever, and I'm comfortable with that because I'm over people. Like I say, I'm learning that every day. And like I say, I'm glad that I'm being reminded that I'm over people, because the thing about it, again, is that the truth needs to be talked about. And the thing about it again is that, with this particular stuff that's going on now, there's like a black man really has to think twice when really wanting to invest in a relationship with a woman, because they already know that they have a lot of sneaky ways, and I'm not trying to sit here and badmouth women, but the issue is that, a lot of things are because, of the unfortunate actions of women. And like I say, and the thing about it is that, they don't want to own up to that. But like I said, you could play both sides. Everybody, men have bad qualities, I admit. Women have them just as well. But the issue is, like I say, is that we cannot paint one to be more than the other. Because it's not fair. But like I say, women, continuing on with this theme, women going out there, and I've done videos in the past, where, about interracial relationships and such like that, and the reason why black women want to run to white men and such like that. And I went into and I was very detailed about it. I didn't hold nothing back. Like I said, I was, again, responding to someone who actually commented on a video that I did, again, responding to someone else, and they wanted to sit there and say, for the most part, that black men, as we said before, don't support black women, that they look at them as not being as smart, and that's what really ticked me off. They don't look at them as being capable. They don't look at them as being the man that is there to protect the woman. And the thing about it, like I say, life is about choices. Every black man, like I had to tell this ignorant sister, every black man is not what you speak of. Just because you say that doesn't mean that every black man has to be that way. And for the most part, I gave my reasons why, and it was long and drawn out, and I never heard from the sister again. Thank God. Because again, one thing about it is that we can argue until the cows come home, but until the heart changes, that's when you will actually see changes as far as, the relationship goes, where we will actually be able to really enjoy being around one another. But like I say, everything, like I say, is not the woman's fault. Everything that goes on in our community is not the woman's fault. Sometimes it's a collective effort on the man and the woman. They're not thinking clearly. They're doing crazy things. They're doing things and such like that. Like I say, so the man's part about it is that I can understand where they're coming from with that, but the issue is it's not clear cut, like that. There are some things that are happening in our community because of black women. And I'll just leave it at that. The main part also, too, what really bothers me is that I believe in the power of words. I really do. Like I say, I believe in wisdom. I believe in all of these things that were given to us for a reason. And it's actually, and they actually have profound effects on us if we actually misuse them. And the thing about it, again, is that there is a video that's actually floating around on YouTube. It's a very old video. Well, not too old, but it was done by a very talented black lady. I love her. She's very talented. By the name of Quiet Storm. I'm going to put a post or a link to the video in my description box, and I would encourage all black women to actually view this video and see the words that this woman has to say. The fact that, I'm angry and I have a right to be angry and such like that, and just really look at what this woman is saying. Because when the video starts off, and I don't want to give too much of the video away, but when the video starts off, you would think that this lady's about to lose her mind. I mean, and the thing about it, again, is that the lesson that I actually really want you all to really think or to take away from this, for those who choose to listen, of course, is listen to the ending of the video. Because the ending of the video is what really made my heart really drop. It really sent chills down my spine, because again, it delivers a very powerful message. And the thing about it, again, is that, these videos here, I mean, like I say, I wish that she would still I wish she would still be making YouTube videos, because I know I would subscribe to her. Because again, she's a very powerful woman. Not many women that I can say that I give my whole respect to. I mean, she just tells it like it is. Like I say, it doesn't matter. You can't help but agree with everything that she's saying. She's the type, I would have to say, she's got it like that. And I like her style. I really do. That's the type of woman that I like in my life. And like I say, I don't want to go too far into that, but yeah, if you get a chance, just go and view the video and listen to what she says, and like I say, and really think about it and take away something positive. That's the only thing I can tell black women. You can tell them, but like I say, interpretation, again, is all up to the ears that choose to listen. Like I say, so just do that if you would. Now, moving on also to another reason why they say women are angry is because women are being treated like sex objects, rather than human beings. Well, like I say, that is true. Every time you turn around, a man is looking at a woman not for her worth, but pretty much looking at her curves, her butt, and her, and all this other type of stuff. And the issue is, I have to ask the question, why? A lot of black women says, well, Men won't pay attention to them unless they actually dress slutty and stuff like that. And I have to say that I call foul on that. Because again, you're taking into account that all men are dogs. And all men are not dogs. You have some men that are classy and want a woman with class and brains who does respect herself. See, one thing about it is that I believe in the law of attraction. You attract whatever it is that you are. And the thing about it is that you have a lot of women that really want a diamond, but yet still they are dressing like sluts and behaving like whores, but they actually want a respectable man. They have this ghetto attitude, Shaniqua, Quali, or all this other type of ghetto attitudes or whatever, and they will actually expect that that's supposed to actually, I guess, cause them to actually get a man of substance. And see, the thing about it again is that a man will not treat you in any other way unless you allow it. Now, you have some classy women that also, that are going and doing things for themselves, going to school, taking care of their children, handling their business, very classy women, and yet men still look at them as sex objects. And see, in those cases, the woman has all the right to stop and put the man in his place. I'm behind that 100%. Because the last thing that I would want to do is be classified as some of the other folks. Because I know I'm different. I'm trying to break the stereotype. But a lot of them, for the most part, they are behaving like that. You have videos and like I say, and other material, and I'll put that in quotation marks, that portray them to where they will actually settle for anything. See, one thing for the most part, like I say, the reason why I believe that a lot of these women do that is because they really want the attention of the black man. See, one thing about it is that, again, here we go again, you have to understand and study the psychology of the female brain. The female will do things because she wants to be seen, she wants to be looked at, she wants to be, gawked over and everything else, even though her mouth may say no. Like I said, and I'm not saying that's an invitation to violate her for those who are listening, because I'm pretty sure that, that is going to be the main thing that's going to be taken away. But I'm saying that even though that's what, she may say, body language says a whole lot more than words ever could. Now, I believe in the fact that no means no. I don't care whatever the case. You can have bedroom eyes, and you can even have your tongue whirling around, in your mouth, or whatever the case may be. But if you tell me no, I have to respect that. I'm going to turn around and walk away. I don't care what other suggestive sexual things you may do. If you tell me no, I have to respect that, and I'm going about my merry way. I'm not saying that all men are like that, but I'm telling you that's what I do. Because again, I respect black women. Number one, I respect my life, and I don't want to go to jail. I'm not a fool. But the issue is that you attract what you allow. You put yourself out there. You're dressing all this type of way and this, that, and the way because you want to get the black man to see you. There are better ways to do that. This type of stuff can be done in the bedroom between you and him, and nobody else has to know anything about it. But to openly display your sexuality like that, like I say, to me, that's low class. And I don't think very many men with substance who have a little something going for themselves is really going to look at that as something favorable. Now, I'll tell you this, they'll sleep with you. Of course, what man is going to pass up free meat? Come on, let's be real. But at the end of the day, he is certainly not going to respect you. So for the fact about it that you're being seen as an object rather than a human being, a lot of it has to do with the fact of what you put out there. If you don't want nobody to look at you as yesterday's trash, don't act that way. Don't go out there portraying yourself to be trash. So, and for the most part, men are going to reproach you as something that's worthy of respect. Like I say, today's men, we're growing up, we are thinking, we're being more sober and clearly, even though you still have those that are knuckleheads, that are still crazy and still act like children, act like, teenagers with their hormones raging out of, going out of whack. But yet still, you have to overlook all of that and look for the quality men. A lot of them say, well, where are the good black men? Most of them done turned gay. Most of them, they're in jail. Some of them are, are locked up. But the issue is that just like anything else, when you find everything that you can to down the black man, you can find a place, you can find somewhere where a good man. Now, I understand this. The Bible says that a man who finds a woman finds a good thing. He obtains favor from the Lord. Like I said, there's been some cases where, women happen to be in the right place at the right time, and they happen to just walk up and start a conversation with a man of substance, and next thing you know, they're in a relationship. I like that too. Like I say, but the issue is that don't put yourself out there to be gawked over. I'll put it like that. I know that goes in one ear and out the other for those who choose to listen, but anyway, that's just pretty much my motto. You don't have to follow it. It's all up to you. Don't put what you don't put yourself out there to be talked about in such a trashy manner. Don't dress in a way that takes away from your femininity as black women. Act in a way that is going to be deserving of respect. And I guarantee you, in due time, you're going to have men that are going to be coming to you, reproaching you in a respectful manner. And that's what you want. The last part that I actually wanted to talk about, again, is from the angry black woman perspective. Is the same thing that was going on with the black man. Is the fact that, they get angry or that they don't understand why black women or white women are taking their black men. For the most part, I will have to say this. In the early 60s and 70s and 80s, and well, not early 80s, but in the early 60s to 70s and such like that, we had no problem claiming one another. And what I mean by that is that we will always say, okay, well, that's my woman, or this is my man, that sort of thing. And we did it because we actually had a true devotion and a true love for one another. We didn't care what faults we had because nobody's perfect. We were able to overlook that, and even in that overlooking, of those faults, we still find a genuine love towards one another where we still wanted to claim, I wanted to claim you as my man, you wanted to claim me as your woman. That is, and like I say, that was something that was done, and like I say, it was like a knee-jerk reaction. But the issue that they got to understand now is that, like I say, just like they have options to go to white men, black men have options to go to white women as well. When I did a video back, I think it was maybe a year or so ago on the first video that I did on interracial relationships, I actually had to break down and really let this female know that just because I'm black, that does not mean that my destination has to be with a black woman. We have choices, we have options just like a female do. If we feel that a woman of our race is not where we want to be, she's not able to provide what I want and what I need, I have the option to turn away and go to somebody who does. And if that person happens to be of a different race, then so be it. Love sees no color. But in today's time, we have a lot of black women that get angry at black men because they see the black man flaunting their white women around. And like I say, some of them, I would say that, I can understand why they would get angry because the black man wants to hurt the black woman just like the black woman has hurt the black man. And it doesn't make the situation any better. But like I say, men can be just as childish as women. And the thing about it, again, is that I actually had to be cautious, with how I actually move through the conversation because I did not want her to think that black men hate black women. And that's not the case. You may have a very selected few that have a genuine hate, but the issue is that I think that all of this back and forth has to do with the fact that both parties have been hurt, and they don't know how to express that hurt. So they will do things and act in ways to actually say, you know what, you hurt me, so I got to do something to get back at you. But at the end of the day, I really want us to be back together. Like I say, and that's what I believe. But like I say, some things just, have a tendency to just go on and on and on with, no type of resolution on the horizon. But bringing it back to the forefront here, like I say, nobody owns anybody. I mean, like I say, if you really think about it, I'm an individual. Black men are individuals, just like black women are individuals. We don't own you, and you don't own us. The same way that you feel that, you want to get with someone who is quote unquote on your level, we have that same right as well. If we feel that, again, that what we're looking for can be seen and easily understood by somebody at another race, go right ahead and do it. Nobody's putting a gun to anybody's head as far as relationships are concerned. If you feel that, again, your needs and wants can be met with somebody who happens to be of a different race, you go right ahead. Because one thing about it, haters are going to continue to hate, and they're going to continue to be disrespectful and rude, all because deep down they already know that you got it going on. Point blank, period. But like I say, in closing, what we got to understand is that we have to somehow get rid of this foul ground that has been given to, between the sexes. And when we get rid of and break up that foul ground, the black man's worth is really going to go back to the area on where it's supposed to be, where there was a genuine need and a genuine thirst and a genuine hunger for black male companionship, as far as the relationship between black women and black men goes. There would be a need and a hunger, and there would be something that can't be broken. Like I say, I know that, putting up this image here is not going to really paint, is not going to be all that well liked because of the allegations of what Bill Cosby is going through. But I'm not even talking about him outside of the Cosby Show. I'm talking about how they got along on the Cosby Show. I understand it was a scripted television series. I understand that. But just looking at the fact that how they were actually able to bond and make decisions and make tough decisions and run a household, one person would not do anything without consulting the other and vice versa. I mean, this is the type of stuff that really I would like to see happen again. But like I say, will it? I don't know. I can't answer that. I mean, we all have like a big wish list of things that we wish that black women won't do, and the same thing, we have a wish list of what we wish that black men won't do. But like I say, we're living in an age where there are too many influences that are out there that are not really doing anything to help us, but actually it's like working against us. And the thing about it is, again, is that, will it affect the worth of a black man? You better believe it. But like I say, again, I will close with this. This is not a bashing video. If you want to take it as a bashing video, there's nothing that I can do about that. If my video, it kind of makes you feel some sort of way or some kind of way about me, guess what? Join the club. I have been called a lot worse by a whole lot better. Peace out, folks. And as always, be blessed.